everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I am doing something a little bit different. Now normally today I would be posting my latest video for my Build Newcrest Community Lots Edition project, but instead I am bringing you a lovely, creepy, haunted house. So I know this seems a little bit odd for June, but over the weekend I was watching YouTube videos and I saw that the Buzzfeed Blue YouTube channel had uploaded a video where Shane and Ryan from Buzzfeed Unsolved created themselves in The Sims 4 and asked viewers to create them a haunted house for them to live in. So naturally, I'm a big fan of Buzzfeed Unsolved, as I am of the Try Guys, which, if you remember, I've done a couple videos now on a Try Guys house that I built, and then also a video where I killed them off. So, yay, check those out too. But I am a huge fan of Buzzfeed Unsolved, so obviously I had to build them a house. So, this is called Hey There Demons, which is a joke from the show. But yeah, so this is a very creepy Victorian-styled house. I did realize as I was building this, the only time I ever seem to build Victorian houses is when I'm trying to build something that's like creepy or haunted, and I really should at some point like build Victorian houses that aren't creepy because they're very lovely houses, and I don't know, I don't want to like leave them out or anything, but I don't know, I just never build them unless I'm trying to make something creepy. So there's that. Yeah, so you can get this house. It's up on the Sims 4 gallery, which I had a lot of issues today actually trying to get this uploaded. So originally it wasn't going to upload at all, and then it uploaded twice and hashtags weren't working and the whole thing froze up, and it was a big mess. Like, I've spent almost my entire day so far working on either building this house, trying to upload it to the gallery, editing the video, or now doing the voiceover. So it's 3 p.m. I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas today because that's all I've been doing is trying to get this done. But I think it's been well worth it. So this beginning part I did in the nighttime, like light settings or whatever. So it's very dark, but I do go and I turn on the lights eventually. I just wanted to kind of get the right vibe for the house, and for me, from the outside, that's easiest if I'm trying to do something like scary to build it in the dark. So I could see okay. I don't know how well that's coming across here on the video, but like I have my brightness. Actually, I don't have my brightness on my monitor turned up very high because it bothers my eyes, but I have like the saturation turned up a little bit, so it made it a little bit easier for me to see. So yes, this is, I think, a really nice house. I tried to make it seem like it was at one point a very nice family home, and then just bad things happened, and bad things continued to happen, and creepy things happened, and now no one lives here. So, you'll see once we do like the inside floor plan and stuff. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. So it's, you know, it actually would be a very nice family home. Like, I don't know, if you wanted to download it and renovate it and make it look less creepy and scary, then be my guest. I realized too that this is very similar in style to my spooky party house that I did back in, I think, well, I'm assuming I did it in October because that's normally when I would be doing spooky builds. But I decided I wanted to do like, I don't know, like a solarium, I guess you would call it, on the side of the house. So basically like an inside greenhousey lounge type of area. So that's what that like half octagonal room is. And then there's also a kitchen, a dining room, a half bath, and the living room, or I guess in this house you would probably call it a parlor, all on the first floor. So, and then upstairs there's 2 bedrooms that are like double beds. So I built one of the bedrooms to be probably the bedroom that Ryan would be in, and one of the bedrooms to be probably the bedroom that Shane would be in. They're not like as specific because I wanted them to be like closer to what this house would have had, and not necessarily like Ryan's room or Shane's room because I really wanted to keep with like the theme of the house. The only difference I could really see is that Ryan's room, instead of putting any curtains or anything up on the windows, I put garlic because I figured he would probably want that type of protection to have garlic up, you know, from vampires or other scary things, I suppose. So yeah, but otherwise they're basically the same setup of bedroom, like double bed, some creepy candles, a wardrobe, that sort of thing. And then the third bedroom is a nursery. So I decided to do like a creepy little girl's room. And so there's like a vampire bassinet in there, and there's all sorts of weird things in this house just in general. I also put in a basement, which I did sort of forget about. Like I knew going into it, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a creepy basement, and then I built the whole like floor plan, and then it was like, right, I need stairs. See, this would be one of those times where having a ladder would be very helpful, because that would just take up like 2 tiles, and I could just plop it into a corner and be like, oh yeah, it's like the cellar. Climb down the ladder to get into the cellar. It's no big deal. But nope, we don't have that, so I had to actually have room for a staircase. So I squeezed that into the kitchen. And yeah, so obviously I used a lot of stuff from Vampires, so if you don't have the Vampires game pack, I honestly wouldn't recommend even downloading this house, because it's going to end up looking so bizarre from what it actually looks like here, because every single room, the floor, the wallpaper, most of the furnishings, it's all Vampires. The whole, like, everything. There's so much in this house that's from Vampires. So I'm sorry if you don't have it, but you can at least enjoy the video, so that's good. And I used... what else? I used a few things from base game. Like, back a couple years ago, they did like a Halloween type of thing. Well, you know, not really Halloween because it's The Sims, so it was like spooky day. But like, you could either do tricks or treats, and like like it counted up how many treat interactions were done in game and how many trick interactions were done in game. And then based upon that, we got rewards. Like Team Trick had like a cute door and like a fish tank that had like jelly beans or something in it, and I forget what the last thing. Oh, it was like a chest. And then like there were the same items basically for the other team as well, just themed differently. And I don't remember which team wound up winning, but whatever team it was, we wound up getting both items eventually anyways, so like it's not a big deal. But so anyways, so I used the doors from that little like mini challenge or whatever as the like doors inside of the house. But that's like, even if you didn't participate in that challenge, because that was several years ago now. I mean, I think that was like for Halloween of 2015 they did that, so it's been a while. But it's been patched in for free for everybody, so even if you don't have it, you can still, you know, have it in your, it's in your game basically is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so this room here, this is like the solarium room that I was talking about before. And so I took some of the plants and trees and things from the Vampires game pack and then either shrunk them down and made them fit into like these little pots, so it was like an indoor garden type of thing. And then there's like a chaise lounge and then a bookshelf, and I think there's like some weird looking like spell book thing on a pedestal that came in the Vampires pack. So I put that in this room as well. I also put it somewhere else in the house, but we'll get to that later. So I don't know. It's sort of like, it reminds me of like a guest book. Like, you know, like if you're staying at like an old fashioned like bed and breakfast or something, there's like an actual guest book that you could sign in on. That's what it sort of reminds me of. But yeah, so obviously lots of like dark, like blacks and reds and deep purples and stuff in this house. I really did try to make this as creepy as possible. Like, and I tried to make it also look like a lot of the furniture is just sort of like placed kind of haphazardly. Like the beds aren't like snapped up against the walls or anything. Like they're kind of at weird angles. Unfortunately for the bathrooms, if you want it to be a functional bathroom, you kind of have to put like the sink and the toilet and the tub up against a wall. Well, maybe not the tub, but the sink and the toilet you definitely do. So for those rooms, unfortunately, they're not creepy in like, oh, there's like a random sink in the middle of the room, because it doesn't work. Which actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because a sink that's been like destroyed and set down in the middle of the room, it's not hooked up to any plumbing, so obviously it's not going to work. But I also wanted this to be like a somewhat functional house for gameplay purposes and not just like aesthetically pleasing. So this is the very long process of going through room by room. And if you weren't aware, in the Vampires game pack, we have all sorts of like wall decorations, I guess you could call them. They're not really decorations because it's like cobwebs and holes in the walls and scratch marks on the walls and water stains, and like they're great for making things that are like abandoned or just haunted or scary or whatever. But so I went through each room and placed all of these different like decorative creepy things all over the house. So for the most part, I tried to follow a few kind of simple rules. So for the cracks on the wall, I tried to make it look like they were coming from something, because in reality, you wouldn't have cracks on the wall just like randomly. Like it would usually be at like a structural weak point. So like corners, around window frames and door frames, that sort of thing. And I tried to make it so that for the most part, the cracks either looked like they were lining up with one of those things or sprouting from one of those things. As far as like the holes on the wall, there are two types that we have. One of them is kind of like, it looks like there's like a wooden, like, I don't know, wall behind it. So like there's like horizontal pieces of wood. And then the other ones, it's like a solid thing behind it. So I don't know much about building, but so for this, I just sort of arbitrarily decided that anything that had the wooden part behind it would be on an interior wall, and anything that was solid would be on the exterior wall, because in real life, especially in older houses like this that are probably like built from actual stones and that sort of thing, you probably, like, your interior walls are going to be thinner and made of wood, which is like a flimsier material than like stone or brick or something. So I put all of the wood holes on interior walls and all of the non-wood holes on exterior walls, like within each room. So it matches up for the most part with if it's on the outside of the house or if it's on an inside of the house. And then what else? The cobwebs. Cobwebs I just sort of placed wherever. So we have a few different types. There's some that hang from the ceiling. There's one that's like a floor cobweb that connects the floor to the wall with a cobweb. And then there's another one that does the wall to the ceiling. And then there's a third one that's like for corners specifically. So basically, I just tried to place them in places that would make sense. Like, a spider isn't necessarily going to build their web like right out in the open. So like if there was an object or something in the room that maybe hasn't moved in a very long time, I tried to position a cobweb so that it looked like it was either coming out from behind it or attached to it in some way. And then the last thing I did was the watermarks and the scratches. So scratches I just sort of placed wherever. I didn't use very many of them. They don't really show up very well, especially with a lot of the like vampires, like more Victorian style of wallpaper. But for watermarks, I would place them in places where you would actually have water stains. So obviously by like sinks and toilets and bathtubs and that sort of thing. And then I also placed them in some of the rooms underneath windowsills, because like, if you have like an old leaky window, over time you're going to get rain coming in and that leaves watermarks. So just some like, I don't know, I guess fun building tips on how to make your house look like crap. So yeah, so now I am doing like a little cemetery thing in the front yard. I tried to make it look like not organized in any way. Like the headstones are all kind of just placed wherever, and maybe I wish we had like a few headstones that looked like they'd been like knocked down or something. But we don't have that. So I did also place a couple of the pet mausoleums from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack. Which is very, very sad. Also, okay, so I talked about this on my Twitter earlier today, but so 2 nights ago, I've been having a lot of like crazy dreams, which is not entirely unusual for me. I tend to have very vivid dreams, and I almost always remember them, which is kind of fun, but a little confusing for me sometimes. But so 2 nights ago, I had a dream that my family, like my parents and siblings and my husband, we were all like at this church thing. And when we were done, there was a stray dog like leaning up against the bumper of my mom's van out in the parking lot. And so we were like, oh my God, like this poor dog, we have to help it. And so we opened up the van door and this dog just like climbed in. And so we took it to the vet, which was of course in my dream, a vet that was inside of a hospital. Also, fun fact, in all of my dreams that involve hospitals, the hospital hallways are all large enough for cars and ambulances and fire trucks to drive inside of the hallway, which seems very dangerous, but I don't know. It's just like for my entire life, that's always been how my dreams have worked. I have no idea why. So we drove to this vet clinic that was inside of a hospital for some reason, got to park our van right in front of it. But, so like we go into this clinic and it's very, very small, and like the vet makes us share a room with some guy who's hooked up to an IV who didn't even have a pet with him, so that was confusing. And then, you know, like this poor dog, I remember it's like, it sort of looked like a poodle mix, but like very small, but with long legs. And it had like brown fur that was really, really soft, and we decided to name him Jack. And so he was so sweet, and he would like cuddle up against you, but like you could tell that like there was something up with this dog. Like he was either injured or sick or just like malnourished or thirsty or something. And right as the vet was about to tell us like what was wrong with this dog, I woke up. And I was so upset. So, and you know, like sometimes I try to do that thing where I'm like, okay, I'm in the middle of a dream and it's like a good spot, or like I want to go back to it, and I'm like, I'm just going to go back to sleep and the dream will keep going. But I didn't. I couldn't go back to sleep. And then I was like, all right, well, there goes that, I guess. So I tried, like, I was hoping like, okay, well, maybe like the next night I'll continue my dream. But no, I had a totally different insane dream that I'm not going to get into because it's about the sibling of one of my friends, and I don't know that she really wants me to share this on the internet because it's not a great dream. So, but I was like, seriously? So now I don't know what's wrong with this poor dog in my dream. And yes, I know that it's not real, but it doesn't matter because my subconscious thinks that there's some injured dog out there and I don't know what's wrong with it. And this is very upsetting to me. So, anyways, enough of my weird dream stories. So, if you weren't aware, The Sims 4 has a menu that's called Debug, and there's a specific cheat to unlock it, which I don't remember off the top of my head what it is. I use a mod called like cheat shortcuts or something that makes it so that I don't have to type in the full cheats, because if you ever used a cheat in The Sims 4, you know, they have the longest cheats ever, like of any Sims game before. For some reason in The Sims 4 they decided to make the names for all the cheats very, very long. So I have a mod, so like instead of like, for example, for move objects, instead of typing like move objects on, I just type M and hit enter and it turns on the move objects cheat. It's great. But anyways, so in this debug menu there's all sorts of things like clutter objects that normally, like, they're all things that are in the game, but like, you know, like if your sim, for example, if your sim is making food and they pull out like a mixing bowl to like mix up a cake or something, like that object had to be created by the team, and so that object would be in the debug menu even though it's not something that's normally in game. So there's all sorts of like random things in there, like there's a lot of like kitchen clutter objects, but then there's other things as well, like collectibles that you can find out in the world and all sorts of things. So they're also very good for like creating clutter, like that's making a house look like messy or gross or weird. So I put like a little doll, like toy, sitting on the chair in the living room just because I could. And it's a little creepy. And then on the table I have the machete from Jungle Adventure and like a plumbing upgrade part, which is basically just like a really long bent pipe, and then like a wine glass, like, or I'm sorry, a juice glass. But like all sorts of just weird things, or like, you know, like if your sim is like barbecuing or something, then they sometimes will pull out like the little bottle of like lighter fluid, like that's one of them. So I put that in the dining room by the fireplace. I put all sorts of weird things by the fireplace, just as an FYI. There's like lighter fluid and random pieces of wood and like lighters and a fireplace poker stick thing and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, pro tip, that's also a good thing to use like when you're trying to make a house look cluttered or gross or dirty or whatever. And then I did find this heart that's from, I actually think it's from Get to Work, but as I'm saying this, I'm pretty sure that when I uploaded this to the gallery, it didn't mark Get to Work as a needed thing for the game. But I mean, I think that that little heart object is the only thing that's actually from that pack, so whatever. But I decided to put that in the nursery as like floating in the middle of the room because I thought it was creepy. And yeah, so just all sorts of like fun and creative things you can do with the stuff in that menu. So if you're looking, because like, let's be real, if you've been playing The Sims 4 for a while, or if you've been building in The Sims 4 for a while, you know that like it can get a little old sometimes to do all of the same objects all the time. So actually, after I finished building, I did go into live mode or live mode or whatever you want to call it. And I went through and I changed the lighting for all of the lights in the house. So they're either kind of tinted weird or they're dimmed really dark. So just to create a little ambiance, if you will. So anyways, so this is called Hey There Demons, and it is available right now on the Sims 4 gallery, so you can get to it either by using the link in the description box below this video, or by searching on the gallery under the hashtags Mrs. Tomato 1018, or by using my username Mrs. Tomato 1018, or you can also look through the hashtag Unsolved House, which is the official hashtag for all of these houses that they are having us make for Buzzfeed Unsolved. So yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do so down below. I put out a new video every single day, Monday through Friday. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!